You ready?
We're live.
We do appreciate y'all being patient. We just had a little discussion we needed to discuss, and at this time we begin our meeting. We welcome you to our Walton County Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting. If you would, please stand as we have our invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Tony, if you would, please.
Lord, we ask you wisdom as we do the work of the county and on the behalf of the citizens of Walton County. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. We do appreciate the board members here tonight. We do have 4 out of the 7. We appreciate the attorney being with us, and also Carrie with the hard work that she has provided, and also the other planning department personnel that is here tonight. Ms. Shamlin, thank you for coming, and Mr. Dice. Before we let you speak, let's go ahead. I think that you would like to make a comment?
Yes, sir. Just briefly, there was one item that some of you may be present for. It's Forest Lake Gate variance. That item, there was a problem with the advertisement, so if any of you here tonight to speak on that item, it's going to be heard in November. So I just wanted to make that quick announcement. Again, it's Forest Lake Gate variance.
Was that item 1, 2?
It actually was not on the agenda, but it was noticed for the October meeting. It didn't make it to the agenda, though.
Take the vote. Mr. Dice?
Mr. Chairman, as we the next meeting date, we have a couple of variances on here that have asked for a couple of appeals who have asked for continuances. The county staff's attorney, Mr. Greg Stewart, he's not available the next scheduled meeting of the Zoning Board of Adjustments. And so we'd like to propose a meeting date where we can all be present at. And that date, I believe, which we're recommending, is November 16th. If that is acceptable to the board, we would like to potentially, if we could, reschedule those to the 16th of November.
That's on a Monday?
I believe it is, yes, sir.
It is.
I have no problem with that date. I don't too, Mr. Miller?
Nope, that's
Mr.
good.
Fletcher?
I don't know yet.
Tony?
That should be fine.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm good.
We're good?
Okay.
We need a motion.
I make a motion to move the November meeting to Monday, November 16th at 6 p.m.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
We also we'll go ahead and do the housekeeping here this morning or this afternoon. We need a motion to continue item 1, the Jim Fowler variance, item 2, HMC Development 2 LLC appeal, and item 3, Seagrove Holdings LLC appeal.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Mr. Fletcher?
All right, is that for all 3?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Chairman, that brings us down to the last item on the agenda, which is the Thomas variance. I'll ask Ms. Chamel to come up and brief the board on this request for variance.
Before you do that, we need to have the swearing in of our witnesses.
That's true. I'm sorry.
Anyone who anticipates testifying, if you would, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give before this board will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, you go first.
Yeah, I like for the
I'm sorry.
applicant.
Yeah.
Y'all have a advantage anyway coming into the meeting, so we try to counter that with the good one first. Who's here tonight to discuss the Thomas variance? If you would, come up, state your name for the record.
Ben Thomas. I'm the owner of the property, and I'm also the contractor.
Well, let me explain to you. We have 7 members.
Yes, sir.
3 is not here.
Yes, sir.
4 of us has to agree with you.
Yes, sir.
So you can either continue it to the next meeting, or you can take your chances.
I understand, sir. I'm just in a position where I need to move forward with the house, either through a variance or through actually taking down a portion of the house through.
So you agree to take down the portion of the house tonight? We're not going to have a request? I'm just joking with you now.
Well,
Your eyes got a little
You have to
big
watch
there.
him.
Go ahead and tell us that. Go ahead.
yes, sir. Well, first off, I'd like to thank all of you for taking your time. I know all of you have busy schedules, and this is something that's weighed heavy on my heart. Not only because I'm the property owner, but because I'm the general contractor on the project. I've lived in the area close to 10 years. I pride myself on good work ethic and following through with things in the proper manner, and it's really it's been left a real bad taste in my mouth that this has happened. I hired Ron Volker to stake and boundary this lot 7, Botany Bayou. I purchased the lot 4.5 years ago, and Ron did the original survey boundary. When I began to get ready to build, I hired Ron again to do another boundary survey. Through the stakes and the boundaries that Ron set, I laid out the foundation on the property. At that point, we poured the slab, and I ordered my foundation survey not soon after the slab was completed. I called Ron, I would say a week after the foundation was completed, to get an update on where we were on the foundation survey. Didn't get much answer. I sent numerous emails. I apologize, I didn't print those off to show them. About 2.5 weeks after the foundation, I got a call from Ron. He said he was working on the drawings, he was backed up, he's going to get them to me. I, in turn, moved forward with framing the home. I know that's normally not the best case to go by, but I also know through my dealings with the building department that a foundation survey is really only required for the framing inspection. That on my behalf was a mistake. I counted on Ron to stake and put the proper boundaries on that lot, and once I did receive the foundation survey from Ron, after the framing had already begun, I then realized that the staking was not proper, the property corners were not proper, and I immediately called Ron. I said, Ron, what's going on here? We pulled this house exactly off the stakes that you put in. He said, well, those back corners are wrong. I said, Ron, how are the back corners wrong? Your stakes were in the ground. We cross-referenced everything with the stakes that he put in the ground. At that point, Ron told me I just needed to go for a variance. I didn't really know what to do. I hadn't been in a situation like this. I contacted Shannon Clatchley with Rare Earth. I said, I got to get a second opinion. Maybe Ron's just wrong, because through the Volker survey, at that point, I realized that he had shifted the rear property corners over 2 feet. Well, I knew exactly where the original curly corners were from the time Botany Bayou was originally platted. And I went right there, and then I kind of put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, he is dropping new property corners through his survey, yet they aren't there. All I see are the curly corners exactly where he staked. And I contacted Shannon with Rare Earth, and here we are. I was mid-construction. I did continue to frame the house to get it in the dry because I didn't know what to do. That really is the premise of the whole deal, and what went on.
Let's get some dates. Let's get a date whenever the first survey, when he did his first survey, what was that, like in January, February, March?
No, sir. February 2015 was his boundary survey that he completed.
And when you started your foundation, what date was that?
I received my permit towards the middle of June. It was the 1st of July when I completed the foundation.
And you pulled off of his stakes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then when did you realize, and you went ahead, poured the slab,
Yes, sir.
and you asked for a foundation survey?
Yes, sir.
And that took him another month.
Yes, sir. I've got it dated, stamped, sealed, with his signature. August 20th
August the 20th.
was the day that I actually received a hard copy.
And he knew there was a problem, but he didn't tell you.
Shannon can definitely explain some of the inner workings with regards to what happened to the survey. I believe in my heart and my mind that he knew there was a problem. That's why he delayed.
Is he here tonight?
Yes, sir. Shannon's right here.
No.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Volker.
I'm sorry. No, sir. Ron, I asked him about this. Like I said, we kind of, things got sideways once we reached this point.
Okay, so now here comes August 20th. You started the walls before then, right?
Yes, sir.
So by September the 1st, you had it dried in.
By mid-September, I had peel and stick on the roof. Yes, sir. 1st of September, we had the roof on. That's
now,
correct.
I'm going to ask you a question. If
Yes,
you
sir.
knew there was a problem in July, did you know there was a problem in August? Why didn't you come before us in September? There was enough time?
No, August 20th would have been too late to advertise for that.
Okay.
But
So you're here as soon as you can get here.
yes, sir. I believe I first met with Vivian. It was in September, 1st of September. Even
and all
when
your construction was finished at that time.
yes, sir.
You have not worked on it since.
Yes, sir. We have. We have continued with some rough ends on the inside of the house.
Before we go any further, tell me what you're asking for.
I'm asking for a 1-foot variance along the property line.
North, south, front, back, east.
It would be the western property line between lot 6 and lot 7.
So that's going to be a side setback.
Yes, sir.
So you asking, we have a 7.5, you asking for a 6.5.
Yes, sir.
1 foot variance.
Yes,
on
sir.
the west side. Okay, what else?
That's all I'm asking for.
That's all you asking for?
Yes, sir.
I thought it was complicated.
Can I talk to Shannon for rare earth? I got a question.
Let's get through with him and then
Okay,
you can.
okay.
Any questions?
What's on the adjacent lot?
There is a finished house, and that house is around 9 feet off the property line.
Okay.
So, if there is a silver lining in any of this, is that when the gentleman next door to me built his house, they were over 9 feet off the property line.
Now, is this a spec house or is this?
No, sir,
your
this is
own?
my own personal
Okay.
house. I'm got a 10-month-old right there, and the wife's expecting a second one in January. And right now we're living in about 850 square feet, which I'm very thankful for, but need some more room.
Any other questions? Mr. Shannon?
Yes, sir.
State your name for the record, please.
My name's Shannon Clashy with Rare Earth Land Surveyorship in Niceville. CLATCHEY.
We're going to let Tony interrogate you on this.
I just had a question. When you resurveyed, there's two points along that C3 that established that C3.
Yes, sir.
Is that where the mistake happened? Did he grab the wrong end of C3 instead of the property line? Because it looks like the whole site is rotated according to his.
Are you referencing the Rare Earth survey?
Actually, both of yours have the C. Well, his is C2. Yours is C3.
Okay.
Here is his.
Did he grab the wrong curve? Is that what it looks like happened?
Well,
the wrong end of the curve?
I believe Mr. Volkler started in the front. And yes, I believe he found some corners and he utilized the traverse method of moving your machines, but he went in a clockwise fashion around the lots. And when he closed in, I'm not exactly sure where it went south, but he introduced a 1-degree deflection that was not a flat bearing, and the flat bearings were very clear in here. And he found the original platting surveyor's corners, and he refuted those corners. So by introducing that 1 degree deflection,
So he disagreed with the
introduced
he disagreed with the pins that were out there.
he did, yes, sir.
Did he notify the owner or anyone at that
No.
point?
No one was notified. And it's my belief that this blunder was easily verified by collecting some data along the north lines. Even if the curved lines were somewhat arbitrary, the north line of those lots along Botany Bayou could have been easily collected and verified.
Okay. All right.
It is a concern of mine that in the industry of surveying, we continue to have the issues to where surveyors can do what they please and they don't have no responsibility or liability. To you, it's simple. Here's a platted subdivision with the original platted pins in it.
Yes, sir.
And these surveyors goes in there, and for some reason, their employees that is not adequately trained
Precisely.
does a cheap survey, and then to create problems, and this person, the gentleman, has no recourse. Tell me why the industry has that. I mean, why do we continue to have these problems when the county comes up? Oh, you got to have you used not have to have a foundation. How in the world can you have a foundation survey when the surveyors don't do their job? And this is not our first instance with Mr. Volker. It happened not too long ago. Why can't he go to the gentleman and get some monetary reimbursement?
I believe that's in order. I honestly think that the issue at hand was easily solved. It was a review issue. Dismissing the survey, if Mr. Volkler would have taken a look at his own survey and looked at that plat for 5 minutes, I think this would have been resolved.
But and I wish Scott was here, but isn't it more within the industry that we're going to do our individual survey and the heck we're trying to do what is right?
Well,
I mean,
I
you
want to say
see
it's
it
a
time and
10%.
time in a subdivision. If you're in a 40-acre plot or a 60-acre plot, there's no reason for it, but you can understand it. But in this subdivision, it's ridiculous.
Well, I think it's that 10% rule. You have, say, 90% of surveyors, engineers, chemists, whatever profession you might have, even home builders, they take caution and express an interest in what they're doing. And you have the other 10% that knows better than everybody else. And in Mr. Volkler's case, I think he's kind of arrogant when he wouldn't settle up with Mr. Thomas. That's my belief. I think he should have been front and center.
He should be
even before this board convened.
His license needs to be suspended from survey, in my opinion. But that's beside the point. Any other questions?
Are your neighbors aware of this, or your neighbor to the east?
Yes, sir.
He or she is aware of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have they expressed any opinions about it at all?
They have not expressed any opinions to me. I met with them middle of September. Once I received this August 20th. Once I received Shannon's, survey that backed up that we were into the setback, I visited with them, and more or less they said they backed me to go for the variance, and that was the extent of the conversation.
All right. No other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you
Thank you.
being a surveyor, and we appreciate you being up front, and we understand that issues happen,
Oh, yes, sir.
but I also understand in the industry it's all about who's cheap, but you get what you pay for, and then people don't stand by it, and I don't know, it's just a concern.
I want to ask Shannon a question. Is there not a review board or an ethics board that you can take cases like this before and ask for some sort of action?
Yes, sir. The surveyors now are governed by FDAX, as a Florida Department of Agriculture, and it's still the same vein as say what engineers are held to as far as accountability. But I think in this issue here, Ben Thomas and I we're pretty much convinced that this is probably going to be a claim against Ron Volker.
Yeah, okay.
And, yes, sir, that's.
But what if he don't have the insurance? What if he don't? He has no recourse for any financial reimbursement.
Well, and that's something there that Ben Thomas is going to have to weigh out, really. I mean, if he's got real deep pockets, which I think he
at
does.
the very least, I think Ron's got to be accountable for the mistakes that he's made. And no matter what y'all's decision is, I'm going to file with the state, and I'm going to back it up with Shannon's proper survey, because I've dealt with Ron for years. The guy is, just as Shannon said, he thinks he can do no wrong. And if you question anything on him, he just shoots you down.
You want us to take and deny it so you can get him to correct it? Well, I'll testify in court for you.
If you do pursue it, and that's entirely up to you, if you do pursue it, and even if you don't get monetary reimbursement for it, it's going to be a stain against his record. And so that's going to hurt him more, perhaps, than having to give you back some money.
Well, I give you my word, I'm going to file with the state because I don't want the same thing to happen to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Shannon, he sent his guys out there, and they literally spent 4 hours cross-referencing everything, Volker did. And I guarantee you, I wasn't out there when Volker did the original boundary. I guarantee you they spent less than 30 minutes. I've seen him on other things.
I'm well aware of his work.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
County, Ms. Vivian? Do you think it's a hardship? Do you recommend it? Do you deny it? You're quiet today. Where's Mr. Brown? He's
Brian is sick enough. He is under the weather.
He's under the weather.
Yes, sir.
I think I'm Mr. Brown from. So I seem to be getting the variances, so I'm happy about it. I really don't have anything to say. I think the applicant is requesting a 1 foot side variance based on a faulty survey that was done on his property, and I would say if he has proved his hardship to you, it sounds pretty much like a hardship, then staff would be happy recommending approval.
It's unfortunate that this issue happens. It is nice to have a owner of the property back it up by another survey and recognize the issue that happened instead of just trying to say, oh, I'm, you know what I mean? So I think this is a classic ideal hardship. And I think he's trying everything to do to correct it. And we appreciate the planning department supporting it. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir. State your name for the record, please.
Is he sworn in?
And were you sworn in?
My name is Ralph Gottier, Gottier.
Were you sworn in?
Yes, sir.
Gottier?
Yes.
Thank you.
I live in Lake Pageant and also on the board, HOA board there. We have no complaint or opposition to Mr. Thomas getting a variance. What we are concerned with is that the set of plans that he had turned in to us that we approved originally to be built, that it was to be bricked on the left-hand side, that is encroaching. And what we're worried about is the fact that that 1 foot might not be big enough to accommodate the brick also. So you got the brick ledge, you got the slab, and I'm not sure, Mr. Thomas said that the survey was to the brick ledge. So if that's the case, we would like to make sure that they can put brick on that side of the house for the neighbor too that lives to the left of his house, as approved by the HOA.
He has a concern that the 1 foot variance that you asked may not be adequate to cover the brick.
Yes, sir.
Will it cover the brick, or should you ask for 1.6? Or
Well, the brick maximum is going to be 3.5 inches wide. I have gone to Botany Bayou and submitted some new drawings with cedar siding on a portion of the elevation, which in turn there would be no issue if they would agree to that. Yes, sir. I mean, I guess 1.2 feet would cover it if, say, they didn't allow me to do brick. But even in other situations, I've cut brick down to a 1/4 inch and apply it to the house. So,
Well, let's just, we'll make this here simple. If you're asking for, 1 foot, we can work around 1 and then 1.6. Give you a little leave room if that's, and then that's up to y'all to work out the brick issue. What do you think, Mr. Miller?
Yep. Well, he doesn't have to use the 1.6, but if we were to give him the 1.6, that would eliminate any issues with any of the homeowners.
And I'm sorry to interject, but one issue we're going to have with that is we advertised a variance for 1 foot. So we can't give.
I don't think that's going to be, I don't think that's not an issue.
Okay.
We're not going to let that be an issue. If somebody has an issue with the variance, they should have been here and discussed it. 1.6 inches, we're not going to make this gentleman go through the hardship. It comes up in the discussion, and they're welcome to come here to discuss it. If they got an issue, then that's what we hired you to do, to defend it.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
That's right.
So
Keep you busy.
1.6 to be fine for you?
Yeah, the only thing we were asking is just he submitted a set of plans to us for approval, and we approved them. And we don't want any other siding, but we want the brick like was approved by the HOA.
Well, we're going to give you room to do so, and y'all have to work that out.
Yes,
Okay?
sir.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Close it, public discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion?
Motion to approve a 1.6 foot variance on the west, is it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, west side of the house.
1.6.
6 inches.
Okay,
1.6 feet.
1 foot.
1.5 feet.
1.6.
Yeah, 1.5 feet.
Yeah.
18 inches.
No, 1.5 would be a foot and a half.
1.5. Yeah.
Right.
1.5, whatever.
Picky. Second.
I second.
Discussion, Tony?
I agree. I mean, the surveyors we've run into before, I think they caught the wrong side of the curve when they were running it.
Yeah.
And set that corner resulted in that angle that we saw. We see it from time to time. Denying it to punish the surveyor is the long way around and would probably end up only injuring the party before us, not the surveyor. The only resolution when there are complaints with any professional for any reason is for the individuals who have the complaints to go to the proper permitting and boards that certify those professionals. But if people remain silent, nothing will change.
Yep.
That's right.
I admire him for going forward against this guy.
You gonna make that part of the motion?
No. I think
Did someone second the motion?
yeah, I did.
He did. Okay.
We're having a discussion.
Okay.
You want to discuss it?
No, I think it's pretty clear.
Motion to close.
Discussion, second.
Second.
All in favor to close discussion, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve.
Aye.
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 You want us to say, Mr. Miller, how do you vote?
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
You
We
want
don't
to
do this
individually vote?
No,
No.
I think
We don't
we're
have to?
No,
No.
sir.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
You gonna okay that with Carrie?
Yes.
Your variance was approved tonight. We do appreciate everything you've done to do what is right. We do hope that, however, there is a concern. Next time this happens, I don't know about building, continue to build the structure, because, if this thing went the other way, and not long ago, we did make a surveyor correct a problem where they had to destroy the house, that part of the house that was already dried in. I would highly recommend to you not to continue construction if you have another issue like this.
Yes, sir.
But we do appreciate y'all coming, and we hope that you will pursue trying to correct a problem
Yes, sir. I appreciate
in
all
the survey industry. And it's good for the surveyors that does it right. We thank you for it.
No, thank you for
We appreciate y'all coming. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure if you actually stated your vote.
Yes,
You did, okay.
yes. Well, I was holding out.
Well, all three said no.
Do we have to, minutes,
wanna
minutes, minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
I wasn't here last time. so-
I'll second.
Yeah, second.
You wasn't in.
I know. I can't.
But we gotta have somebody.
Well, I mean, do you have to be here to second it?
No.
No, 'cause
All
we
right.
read them. We read
Then,
them.
anybody, Tony seconded it, so it's a done deal. Okay, thank you. A motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion.
Second? Yes?
That's
Right?
That's it?
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
That was easy.
That's one in a row, isn't it?
That's right.
So, yeah, okay, that was, so, Wayne, I'd love to get that stuff from you when you get a chance, yeah. It's gonna be, tomorrow morning at the Hilton is gonna be an exciting event. If you have nothing better to do, come on over. It's gonna be, the fur will be flying, I'm sure.
Carried?